What's going on, Leo? Welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're getting ready for your birthday season coming up here in like, what, a week from Saturday? That's exciting. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Leo. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Because guess why, Leo? Because it's Celestial News Monthly! I'm always excited about this time, Leo's big energy is just super pumped. You should be pumped too, because this one's all about you. But with this monthly spread, whenever the sun is getting ready to move into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are and how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great angel all around here, Leo. Sidebar, Leo. But depending on when you're watching this, my birthday was yesterday, and I got myself this little obsidian moon, and my ruler being the moon. Love this little thing. So treat yourself, Leo. Not all to say. I saw her and I was looking at her. I'm like, do I really need an obsidian moon? It's just like, well, I don't have an obsidian, so yes. So absolutely. Before we even get to this stuff, whenever during your birthday season, make sure to do a little something nice for yourself. Don't worry about other. It's nice to get others, get gifts from others, but it's always nice to treat yourself too, Leo. Because you know exactly what you like. But with this spread, Leo, I don't know if you can see here, I got zodiac signs, zodiac oracle cards for each of the signs that the planets are in. I'm gonna pull an oracle card for this deck for each one, and then we're gonna get some details with the tarot. And this is gonna be an interesting one. We got a lot to talk about, Leo. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situation, okay? Thank you. And in case if you all were curious, which I gotta include this one, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them, except this new one, which I'm gonna include for you, Leo. I've included them links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching, Leo. So definitely give them a check out. Nice little, kind of mix up the energies a little bit, Leo. And they're a great group, so yeah, definitely check them out. But let's talk about you, Leo, because it's about to be your birthday season, and we got the sun that's going to be entering Leo, and then we have Venus that's going to be doing her retrograde dance in your sign, Leo. So this is going to be an interesting one for you. But the sun is going to enter Leo on the 22nd of July at about 8:50 in the evening, and that's going to be when I wrote this, I think it'll be Eastern time. So one of those, it's either Eastern or Central time there, Leo, and then we'll be there through the 23rd of August. And with this energy, because Leo, your energy just first and foremost is very fun, very creative, very exciting. So this is a great energy for playing, creating, and loving. You know what I mean? Because we're with your ruler. Because wherever it's unique for you, Leo. Because it's like wherever the sun's at, it's like you really are going to take on that flavor of the zodiac. So it's nice when you're just kind of back in your energy again. This is very rejuvenating energy for you. It's great for kind of really just experiencing life, and just really just living it to the fullest and finding the beauty and creating just wonderful moments for yourself, Leo. Just really basking in that sunlight and just shining as bright as you just naturally are. Really just kind of bring it this month and just be your authentic self. It's really a wonderful time. And I got caught up in that, Leo. That's lovely, and that's too, Leo. This is going to be very revitalizing, very rejuvenating energy because, we'll talk about that after I talk about Venus. Because also, Venus is going to be retrograde in your sign. She's going to start her retrograde dance exactly when the sun enters Leo on the 22nd of July, and she'll be retrograde through the through the 3rd of September. And with this energy, one thing with the real kind of positive thing about this, because retrogrades, they're not just tough energy, they're energies of reflection, and this is about finding kind of different avenues to express yourself, to create spaces for like self-discovery and self-love, really build up that confidence, because that's another aspect of yourself, Leo, being ruled by the sun. The sun doesn't ask, the sun just does its thing, it doesn't ask if it's brilliant or not, it just is. So this is a great energy for you too, to just like become the artist of your life with confidence, really kind of create new situations for yourself, and like really kind of get your, if things have been feeling kind of off track, just getting your energy, getting things back in order here. But also, depending on where your Leo placements are at, which mine is about to get lit up here too, because I got a bunch of Leo, this is going to be forming conjunctions with your signs. And conjunctions are very interesting blends of energy. You've probably already been feeling the conjunction with Venus kind of going through your sign here, but with the sun entering your, forming the conjunction, this will be more of a revitalizing type of energy, Leo, because now you're, especially if you have Leo in your sun sign, then this is going to be your solar return, which is always exciting. And it's also great energy for just like planning, what you're kind of looking at your chart and like kind of analyzing what's happened for the next year, whatever plans that you want to set for yourself, what kind of goals, maybe career-wise, house-wise, location, personal growth, all of that stuff, Leo. So this is going to be great energy for you. But conjunctions, they can be, because they're the strongest blend of an aspect, because they're within, planets are usually within 0 to 3 degrees of one another, and that's a real tight aspect. And so that kind of integration of energies can sometimes make you feel a little anxious, because you're trying to, it's interesting with conjunctions, but they really kind of get you to take action, you know what I mean? It's just like it's like your energies are amplified, and then the energy flow, like whatever that dominant energy flow that's coming through, let's say for example with Venus, aspecting any of your Leo placements, the energies of like relationships and things are going to light up those natal placements. So very interesting energy for you, but it's going to be one where, it's kind of working with this energies, but it's going to be one where real great growth is going to happen, Leo. Let's get to your first card here. Oh, and look at that, growth. You got the 5th card of Pisces here, and look, I know how this is going to sound, which is the spilled milk card. And with this card, there's a card of regret. Accidents happen. Don't sweat the small stuff. Mistakes. Leave it in the past. It's over. Cannot be changed. Disappointed. Clean up time. Let it go. And minor problems. And with this spilled milk, Leo, this is, every time this card comes up, this definitely gives me kind of like tower moments, whether, I like to call it a little baby tower, but that's not to diminish any towers that may be happening right now or that may come for any challenges that you may face, Leo. And part of that may be too, we're going to switch that a little bit, because part of that maybe too might be happening with this Taurus energy that's going down, with Jupiter being in the sign, Uranus being in Taurus right now. That's forming squares. We'll talk about that in a second. But when we do get in situations, accidents, maybe we get into arguments, with Venus being in Leo, that's another thing. Think about Venus retrograde. Maybe people from the past may come up, and this doesn't necessarily just have to be like lovers or anything, just like maybe old acquaintances and things along those lines. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if this is a person that comes through, maybe we make a mistake, or, like maybe maybe, whatever, accidents happen, Leo. But I do feel like that the energy that this is saying, especially popping up on your sign, it's not letting those situations diminish that sunlight. If anything, let that be fuel for you to shine brighter. Because this could even give me, like almost like kind of like Ten of Swords energies, where when something happens we can get so caught up in it. And Leo, your energy is big, and I feel like it's one thing, it's not that I feel like you focus on things for long, but I feel like when Leo energy gets fixated on something, you really can take something kind of, and again, not to diminish an issue, but it can take something that is like, let's say for example, a spilled milk. It's like a spilled milk glass poured over, and we're treating it as like someone put a hole in our wall or something along those lines. I hope that makes sense. But I do feel like that it's when situations like this happen, it's really being present with how we do react, Leo. Are you one where situation comes down, do we get really flustered? Do we feel really emotional? Do we just shut down completely? You know, like it's, what do we do? What does that look like? And how do we get to this place where we don't let these tower moments and things like kind of floor us, if this is something where we just kind of maybe get caught up or maybe get stuck in the past. Maybe even if we move on from a situation, it's like maybe some like still even like replay something over and over again. It's like, man, if I'd only did this different, or man, if I only had a chance to say that, or something along those lines. It's like even getting caught up like that, it perpetuates the problem, Leo. It gets to where it's turning making a mountain out of a molehill, and where again would never diminish a problem that we're going through or that comes up, but when those situation happens, they cannot be changed. But what can be changed is how we react to the situations, and like what are we going to do from here going forward, because this isn't the first time that milk has spilled for you, Leo, and it won't be the last. And you know, when I feel like when it's talking about don't sweat the small stuff and things, it really does get it to, I feel like it's more like along the lines of not like treating everything like a small issue, but it's just like not letting it to be where it like drags you down, where, you know, let's say if something happens, if we need a moment to just like kind of seclude ourselves for a little bit, whatever that's looking like just like finding, I feel like just like, and that is not saying you don't have any ways, Leo, but if they're just in certain areas, just like if we have like a more reactionary type of, like almost like kind of like MO that we go to, it's just like how can we prevent that knee-jerk reaction and get to a place where it is more proactive and more just kind of more kind of controlled here, Leo. But let's get into your just get some tarot cards on the Mexican sidebar, Leo. First time that I'm busting out these tarot cards, which is super dope. Looking at me too. Look at you getting spoiled for your birthday. But these cards are so long, and I didn't expect that. So this is gonna be an interesting shuffling experience, Leo. So we're gonna take it kind of slow. You know how my shuffling skills are already, so it's just like, oof, this is gonna be. But you know what? I like a challenge. But I hope you like these, Leo. These are, they're based off this anime, this Fate Stay Night, that's really kind of dope, so I'm with it. Alright, Leo, let's see, Let's see what we got here. Nice! Look at you! Just coming out of Cancer season, we're learning from this stuff here. I like this, Leo, because you got the Seven of Wands, and then you got the Chariot here. And with these cards, you know, when spilled milk has happened, the Seven of Wands is a card of criticisms. And I feel like this is what happens sometimes when we get in this, when we really get caught up in the heat, you know. And it's like that first, because listen, when things happen, it's not that I don't expect us to just have this kind of like, just really kind of calm response. You know, sometimes you need to lose it. But it's just like, I feel like maybe for some, it's like I feel like it's almost like finding a space even with the Chariot, because this is Cancerian energy, and Cancer deals with the home space, you know, that kind of safety, those roots, and it feels like that it's finding a safe space for this to just kind of really be with this energy for a second. It's just kind of just like, you know, however you need to process it, and then once you get that out, it's like instead of staying in this energy of maybe like beating ourselves up, or maybe even getting into this like critical state of whether it be on you or to, let's say if a person causes a situation, or even if something just feels kind of out of our control, you know, we can get to where we're just kind of like cursing the universe and things along those lines. It's just like, what can we do to, I feel like just like to get to this place of where we just, in a sense, keep things moving, but still kind of process this stuff. Because I do feel like this is something too where the Seven of Wands can be almost like this, because maybe for some we do kind of keep things bottled up too, because that's interesting energy too, that maybe for, that might be the opposite with some, where we kind of keep it kind of compacted, and where I do, it's interesting when we're able to kind of shut stuff down in the moment and kind of, you know, you may need it to keep it together in that, let's say this is a situation at like work, you know, let's say where we have, I don't know, like an altercation or something, and it's like, you know, we're in that moment, you know, we're not like, we're keeping it cool, but it's like instead of like processing that later. We're just keeping it stifled down. Something along those lines, Leo. Let me get a little bit more on this Chariot, because I feel like that's going to prevent us from moving forward too. Or just going to really kind of slow down. It's almost like we're ignoring the thing, and it's just like letting it... Let me get a little more on this, Leo. Interesting. Okay, so the Chariot is clarified by the Queen of Pentacles and the Star here. And yeah, I do feel like it's finding different ways of different resources or different kind of like coping mechanisms or things along those lines with when, and you know, Leo, I won't put this all on you. Maybe this is someone where we have like a relationship or something along those lines. Maybe this could be maybe in like a friend group. This could be with the Chariot. This could maybe even be like a family group, or maybe we're dealing with something where maybe it's like there's, I don't know, it's like there's this energy of maybe it's like there's this it's like it's big. It seems like this kind of like sort of like overreactive type of energy here, and it just feels like that maybe for some, when I was talking about with the keeping things stifled, it's just like where it's like we're keeping it moving, but we're not healing, you know? And I feel like that there's something that there's just maybe a different way of kind of operating, or just in general, Leo, just really kind of paying attention to how we may deal with situations like this. Any type of things like this. And ultimately we do, I don't know, an energy's coming through here too, Leo. There's just like, ultimately we do want to leave things in the past, but I feel like we don't want to forget about what's happened. You know what I mean? I feel like that we want to, so that these situations don't keep happening again. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what these life lessons are trying to teach you. And if we notice that there's like a repetitive problem that's happening, I feel like that's a time where we really need to take a second and especially just kind of slow the Chariot down a little bit and reevaluate, because there may be a wheel that's loose, something's rocking this boat a little bit. Oh, look at that, we went from a Chariot to a boat. But you know what I mean, Leo. All right, Leo. Nice little start here. I was worried that these cards were going to take up a lot of space, but no, they're skinny enough. We're working through it, Leo. But now let's talk about all this Taurus energy that's going on, because you got Jupiter in Taurus and you got Uranus that's in Taurus. Now Jupiter is going to be in Taurus until 2024 of May, and with Jupiter being in Taurus. Jupiter in Taurus is about thinking about those long-term type of abundance, really thinking about like any areas in life, you know, considering Taurus deals with like our sense of security, whether that be financial, whether that be relationship-wise, that could be your living situations, emotionally, spiritually, just checking any areas of your life. And if we're noticing that we're not feeling secure, how can we invest in that long term? You know, what are some ways that we can get that, help those areas grow and become kind of stronger in there, Leo? And I feel like the nice energy about this, or the nice thing about this energy as well too, is that it really can help us, you know, when we focus on these senses of building that long-term security. It's kind of, all the energies are kind of coupling together very nicely, because, you know, Venus and Leo is kind of thinking about that sense of self-confidence too. So you really are in an area right now where I feel like that it's this, I feel like the energies are getting ready to put you in a more kind of secure place, Leo, with just how things are kind of lining up right now. It may feel like a spilled milk situation where life is kind of like forcing things or something, where it feels like things are a little bit out of your control, but there's a purpose to that. You know, there is that's, if anything, I feel like spilled milk and things, they are there. It's nice that Jupiter's in Leo, because it is shining light on these things, and it allows you to to really kind of research in this stuff. And like, it's going to be like a matter of perspective how we see this stuff. We can either see things as things are just happening to you, or we can see this as an opportunity for change. And then we have Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is going to be in Taurus until about the beginning of July 2025. And Uranus in Taurus is shaking up all this foundation. You know, everything that Taurus deals with is just like, well, if anything that's been working, absolutely, that we can take to the future. But anything that's going to slow growth and slow progression, Uranus ain't about it. Uranus is going to completely remove it, and it's getting into those sort of like more innovative, that star energy. And that's interesting too, because the star is Aquarius energy, is the opposite of your sign, Leo. But this is nice. This gives you an energy of where Uranus energy can be shocking and it can be just like kind of coming out of left field. It does give you a chance to really, again, think outside of the box. And I feel like for you in particular, that's great for you to tap into that creative type of energy, to take these challenges kind of head on and really just kind of rise up and show people why you're the king of the zodiac, you know, the lion. And the thing with this energy, though, depending on where your Leo placements are at, this is going to be forming squares with your signs. And squares can bring about like internal conflict, restrictions, challenges, you know, irritations, delayed achievements, but there is going to be achievements in there. And that's what Jupiter, I feel like, in Taurus is also there to remind you, where things may feel like it's slowing down, but this does give us a chance to really kind of reevaluate things and just kind of like rearrange, really tap into your Queen of Pentacles energy here and rearrange some like sources here, you know, whether it's like, maybe if this is like a job, for example, maybe we're noticing that like, you know, maybe we're thinking about getting like an additional set of income, or, you know, pursuing like maybe even like a hobby on the side, or maybe making more time for self-care, something along those lines, Leo. But, you know, squares where they can feel like the universe is out to get you. I feel like squares are more so there to remind us just how resourceful we can be in a pinch. You know, how where, because you know you've had those times, Leo, where life really kind of threw you some stuff, and it's just like, how the hell did I even figure that out, you know? And that's what the universe is there to teach you and remind you, that you always got it, Queen of Pentacles. You can always figure this thing out. It may be a little tricky at sometimes, but it's, look at how you've grown. But let's get an oracle on this and get some more details. Let's see what we got here, Leo. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you got the 5th card of Cancers here, which is the Urn card. And with this card, this is a card of loss, death, forfeiture, grief, closed up, bereaved, breakup, poverty, collapse, dispossess, remove, dismantle, deprive, absence, change of state, setback, it's over, and done. And with this card, Leo, I will say, you know, when this Urn card comes up, I will say that it's not, if we are dealing with, you know, maybe have experienced a loss here recently, or, you know, I'm sending, because the sun signs in Cancer, I'm sending all the Cancerian love out there that I can muster. It's, that's always a tough time, Leo. But even just more on a, even more kind of on a broader scale, whenever this card comes up, however this looks, you know, with the death in this card, I also feel like it's like the death card, you know, where it's about that change, that metamorphosis, you know, dealing with that type of like that 8th house type of energy, where you're getting into like the you're born, the death, and then the rebirth. You know what I mean? It's a change of state, and I feel like that sometimes there's situations where, for some, you know, this could be where maybe this is like an absence of maybe a person, or maybe this is like a job, or, you know, maybe like we had like a layoff, or maybe this is even like a, you know, changing of home situations, whatever that's looking like. I feel that when we do find ourselves in these kind of setbacks and things along those lines, this one, I will say, it is taking energy of you know, working, making sure to take some time to process this stuff, to heal, you know, because listen, I'm a big fan of keeping it moving, but in order to do that, especially, you know, you got Cancer and energy here, and you just got out of Cancer energy, so it's not like when the energies are gone, it's not that that goes away, you know, there's still emotions that deal with this, Leo, and I feel like that it's one thing we got to make sure that we're doing just as it makes sense, you know, that to feel it, to heal it, and to not criticize yourself for taking moments to feel like things are out of control for a minute. Sometimes even that type of surrender can be very freeing. You know, it's hard, you know, when you don't feel like that you got the reins on the chariot and it's just like it's literally your horses are just running wild. But it is a part of the journey, and you know that because the star as well for me is really kind of like connection with your higher self. And even when you think about Aquarius, like really their energy, they're almost, it's like Aquarius is almost like the pot, really, you know, the sign, and then the figure that's pouring it is their higher selves. And it's just remembering that where you may feel like that things aren't in your control, you're really doing a lot here. You really are, you're divinely guided, Leo, and that this when we get in these spaces of where like maybe like we have absences in our lives, you know, where where voids are being left, or being made, you know, that gives you an opportunity to tap into your Empress energy, considering that Venus is going to be kicking in your sign for a while, to tap into that energy to where after that kind of like plutonic, maybe Mars type of energy happens, it's like we can come in with Empress and start bringing some healing, you know, building on this new foundation where, yeah, this was a setback, but it is over and it's done. And now as something closes, another door is opening. You know, we're stepping into a new opportunity here and seeing where this growth will take you. And it's going to be beautiful, Leo. And it's going to get to where it's always remembering. And that's really nice to have, I feel like, the sun as a ruler, to be reminded that the sun does always rise. You know, even when it's cloudy out, the sun's still up. There's still light. You may not be able to see it at that moment, but the sun is always there. It's always going to be there for you, Leo, and it's going to be brilliant no matter where you're catching it from. But let's get some tarot on this. Yeah, I had to do some sidebar, Leo, kind of lighten things up a little bit. I was doing like practice shuffles with this, and I was just like, you should have seen what was trying to go down in here. It was like 78 car pickup. It was a hot mess. Let's see what you got here, Leo. Oh, interesting. I like this, Leo, because you got the Ace of Wands, you got the Ten of Cups, and then you got the Devil here. Oh, that's a sick devil. All right, and let's talk about the Devil, because, you know, sometimes I feel that we can get into situations where, because this is Capricorn energy, and the Devil can feel like that, and like life can feel like that. It's trying to keep us down. It's trying to keep us restricted, trying to prevent us from getting to this Ace of Cups. You know, really can weighing down on this energy. And I feel like especially when we're going through, you know, really kind of like lower points in our lives, you know, and really are feeling those challenges, and when like things like it's like when we're just kind of eating it all the time, Leo, that's hard to find that tenacity, to find that energy to push forward. But that's where the Devil comes in. The Devil's not just your card of just like, you know, drug, sex, alcohol, you know, addictions, things. It's a reminder. I feel like it's also a reminder of strength, you know, because this Capricorns are the achievers of the zodiac, and they're ruled, both Aquarius and the Devil, Capricorn, are ruled by Saturn. And Saturn sets restrictions. You know, Saturn builds. You get your Ten of Cups with time, with growth and wisdom. And I feel like that this energy, first and foremost with the Devil, is just reminding that to keep that tenacity, to find that perseverance, that even when we feel that we're in this state of like this absence of hope and things along those lines, that there's always hope, Leo, whenever you want to find it. You know, I get where we can get where the emotions can get deep, but there is there is this happiness that can still kind of come here, Leo. And the one thing about kind of Leo energy, that there is this sort of, even at your low, there still is this optimism that is there, you know, because I've been at some low points, Leo, especially being a Cancerian, feeling so much, and then Gemini energy, I get to thinking a lot. But I have so much Leo that I think that if I didn't have as much, it would have been a lot harder. And that is a really lovely perk with the sun, that it does give this energy of vitality here. But one thing too with the devil, I feel like with the devil and the Ten of Cups as well, is that sometimes, Leo, when we don't want to deal with things, we get into this place of where we're trying to force the happiness here with the devil, and then that can lead to escapism and things along those lines, because solar energy is lovely. You know, that's one of the things why people are so attracted to you, Leo, because you have this natural charisma, and there's this vivacity that it's just inherent in you. And sometimes I feel like to keep that energy that's going, it's fun, you know. You're the house of creativity, even if it's, so we just want to be mindful of just overindulgence, of just in how we're channeling our energies. I feel like especially when because to have, like, you know, spilled milk and then earn cards and things, a lot of changes seem to be happening, and so we just want to let this stuff, where again, process this, because you know you're in a judgment-free zone here, Leo, and however we need to process this, I feel like it's like trying to find the healthiest way to cope with this thing as possible. And even if we get caught up in a devil moment, however that's looking like, Leo, it's knowing that you can rise again. It's just finding that North Star, you know, and it's just realizing, you know, and just when you're ready to get back on that chair, you know that higher self is waiting for you. Always got the door open if we just need to make a pit stop. Always, you know, always Ten of Cups. Always there's going to be fulfillment and there's going to be joy. But sometimes in order to get to this joy, there are these challenges and they can feel unnecessary, but there is a purpose in the long run here, Leo, and it's going to lead to this state of enlightenment. So, alright, Leo, we're rocking and rolling here. Let's get some more tea and then let's talk about Virgo. Goes with Virgo energy. We got Mercury that's going to be entering Virgo, and then we have Mars that just entered Virgo not too long ago. So it's going to be a whole party in Virgo. This is going to be very efficient energy here, Leo. But with Mercury in Virgo, Mercury's going to enter Virgo on the 28th of July, and will be there through the 4th of October. And with this energy, Mercury rules over Virgo along with Gemini. And being that Mercury is exalted in Virgo, this is going to be a very productive cycle, Leo, because our minds are going to be a lot sharper. Virgo energy is very analytical, very detail oriented. Just in they're considered like the purists, like the perfectionists of the zodiac. So they really know how to really build things up and really kind of bring out the best version of yourself, Leo. And this is and also with this energy, our power to like analyze information is going to become a lot stronger. Communication is going to be a lot clearer. It's really great energy, Leo, for working on, you know, if we do get in like kind of tough situations here. It's like kind of sitting down, all right, let's get a game plan. How are we going to get to the state of Ten of Pentacles here, you know, Ten of Pentacles too. Why not? We're going to get that state of security, and how are we going to feel fulfilled, feel happy, feel like everything's, you know, life is good again, Leo. And not that life is bad, where we're getting out of this state of challenges. And the one thing too with this energy is being mindful of being like hypercritical, because that is one on the lower vibration. That is that's one of Virgo's kind of drawbacks there. And so you got the Seven of Wands here. So really, I feel like, you know, over this, always, Leo, but really over your birthday season, being mindful of being, I feel like, critical of yourself and of others. You know what I mean? Because that solar energy can come on a little strong there. So it's just something to be mindful of. And then we have Mars that's in Virgo. So now we're thinking efficiently, and now we're taking actions as well, because Mars in Virgo, I feel like, is a really kind of very, very strong placement. And Mars is going to be in Virgo until the 22nd of August, or excuse me, the 27th of August. And with this energy, you know, this is the planet of action is aligning with, you know, with Virgo. So it's just like, you know, you're probably going to be feeling more motivated, more driven to get things done, you know, getting in that Capricorn energy, that kind of hustling, that kind of getting stuff done, whether that be with work, whether that's working on self, you know, whatever that's looking like. But make the most of this energy, Leo. It is fantastic, you know. And we are getting ready to get into a time where this next celestial news week, like almost everybody's going to be retrograde, and it's going to be a very reflective type of period here. So this is going to be a great energy for working on yourself and really be thinking about it, especially with the star card here. Ooh, I like that. Actually, I feel like how they're lined up here, the star card and the chariot, because the chariot is dealing with the future, and you know, they're tied to that. And then Cancer, wait, did I say the chariot? The star is rooted to the future, Aquarius, and then Cancer is rooted to the past. And so I feel like it's like reflecting on this past stuff here, Leo, and thinking about that future and what you want to accomplish with this devil energy here, Capricorn. A lot of stuff lining up here for you, Leo. But let's get some get an oracle on this. Thank you. Okay, Leo, look at that. Now we got the second card of Gemini's here, which is the Rings card. And with this card, this is a card of contracts, agreements, bonds, strong connections, unions, partner, counterpart, lovers, telepathy, like-minded people, committed partner, engaged, interconnected, and soulmate. So the energy that's really kind of popping through here first, Leo, is the interconnected. And this feels more so kind of like that. This gives me kind of very Lovers energy. Well, duh, because this, you know, Lovers is Gemini. But also just like that interconnected, like that. When we get in just more of this kind of like personal situations here, I feel like, we, you know, just considering how heavy we kind of started out here, I feel like it's just kind of making sure that we are staying interconnected and like really kind of checking in with ourselves from time to time. Like, how are we doing? How are we processing energies? Are we... You know, have we been kind of overindulging here, Ten of Cups, Devil here, or have we been, you know, how's that been looking, you know? And I just feel like, you know, making sure that we are staying connected with yourself, Leo. But for some others here, the energies of like the contracts and like agreements are kind of coming up here. And I feel like that maybe for some there's this energy of maybe we're thinking about maybe signing up a contract with some people. Maybe this is for like going for like a new job, or maybe this could even be where we're getting possibly maybe even to like a marriage type of deal, or anything that involves any sort of like legal documents or things. It's like it's like being mindful. Again, I don't feel like it's like, well, I don't feel like people are trying to take advantage of you per se, but I feel like it's just like, if something seems a lot easier than it appears, you know, like maybe someone, because this could be like a relationship, you know, how I was saying with Venus going retrograde, maybe someone from the past is coming up talking about, hey, you know, we're feeling, you know, I've been, look at all this growth that I've done, I've come here bringing Ace of Pentacles, or Ten of Cups here, and something about Pentacles popping up here too. I don't know why I get Pentacles in my head other than with this Queen of Swords, or excuse me, Queen of Pentacles here, but I just feel being mindful of any sort of like maybe agreements, or just maybe any parties that are just coming in, just do I feel like a thorough just look, you know, with the stuff. And I know you know this, Leo, but just like, you know, maybe sometimes like we can get kind of caught up in like the excitement of things, or if you do find yourself like in like a tough spot, you know, maybe sometimes we can get into this place where we may compromise for situations where it's just like, I normally wouldn't do this, but you know, security, blah, blah, blah. So just being mindful of that type of stuff, Leo. But let's get some tarot on this, get some more details. Thank you. Let's see what we got here, Leo. Interesting. All right, more of your energy here. We got the Five of Wands here, and then we got the Eight of Cups. And with this energy, Leo, It almost feels like that maybe for some there's this, it's like for some it's like maybe we're getting into this place of I'm getting like a, it's like we're forming some type of contract, or like we're maybe thinking about joining, this could be like joining like an organization, or maybe we're thinking about doing something with our careers, because Capricorn deals with achievements, careers, success, things along those lines. And you know what, since I talked about that, let's no, okay, never mind, because yeah, because you do got Saturn and Pisces here. But it feels like that there is some sort of bond here that maybe for some of us we may be thinking about. Interesting. It almost feels like that we may be thinking about, it's just like feels like something that's going to do make you bigger. It's just like we're thinking about like our, I don't know, it's like if we're thinking about maybe changing jobs possibly, maybe you got like a great opportunity that kind of came in here, and we're thinking about like what do we need to let go. It's like do we need to consider like moving to a new location, or if this is like, it's interesting, Leo, what's coming up here, but it feels like that maybe for some we may be presented with something like a, I don't know, like an opportunity for change, or maybe we've been kind of weighing some options here as far as like, let me get a little bit more on this Five of Wands, Leo. So I got like, because I got a couple things coming through here. Thank you. Let's see what we got here, Leo. Okay, so the Five of Wands is clarified by the Knight of Wands and then the Five of Cups here. More of your energy here, Leo. And it feels like that maybe for some we're in this place of where we're just, I don't know, it feels like that maybe we've been let down in the past, maybe possibly it's like we're trying to move on to like a different experience here. It's like we're getting tired of, like for example, maybe if this is like a relationship thing, maybe we've been going on these, maybe we've been trying like these apps and things along those lines, and it's just been maybe just kind of let down after let down after let down. It's just like maybe finding like a different way of going about something here, or this could be where, if let's say for like if this is like a job, maybe we're not feeling satisfied with what our, it's like you got all these ideas, Leah, or maybe you're trying to go for this promotion or something along those lines, trying to rise up, but it's still like it's keeping you in this place of just like stagnancy, and just like that we're that there's, that we've kind of plateaued here. But there is a sense of, I feel like with the Saturn and Pisces energy, the Eight of Cups, it's like if there are things that I feel that are restricting that kind of creative growth, that flow, it's thinking about how we can, what steps we can do to let that go, Leo. And listen, or to get to that state of Ten of Cups here. But then listen, I would never tell you to quit your job or anything along those lines. But if something is getting to this place where it's draining you, maybe we're in some type of toxic environment, or this can be a relationship, or however this may be translating, if wherever the energies are of conflict, it's letting those things go, getting a game plan and getting stuff back in order here, getting that chariot moving, because you got a lot of hot, you're heating up here, Leo, all this wand energy that's coming through here. But yeah, it's very interesting, and I feel like really, again, pay attention to your, because you rule the heart, Leo, and then listen. I know it's like pay attention to your heart and like listen to that gut, that intuition, that instinct, and if something is telling you that that there's a need for a change, or that there's a need to kind of move on here, and whatever that looks like for you, considering that stuff, paying attention how a situation is just kind of, affecting you. So, all right, Leo. Interesting energy here. Now let's talk about Pisces energy, since you got Saturn in Pisces, because Saturn is in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. They'll both be there until 2025. And with both of them are retrograde. And Saturn being retrograde in Pisces is going to be retrograde until the 4th of November. And with this energy, this is a very spiritual energy here. I feel like this is a really nice placement for Saturn. Saturn placements Saturn transits can feel harsh, but Saturn really does want us to grow. He really is. I was telling a Capricorn about this, that where it's not that Saturn, he puts these challenges on us because it's not that he doesn't want you to grow. It's just like okay, this is your dreams. Okay, well, here are the tools that you have. Let's see what you can do. Manifest it. If you need more, you'll create more. Queen of Pentacles, you'll tap into those resources, but it's just like, here's what you're starting with. And it's all within. I feel like Saturn, that's a big thing. It's like sometimes too, we feel that we need a lot of stuff outside of ourselves, but these things outside of ourselves wouldn't be able to happen without us, Leo. It's like there's this energy of really, again, like I was talking with that interconnected, of really just like connecting with your higher self, really listening to, getting attuned to yourself, physically, emotionally, spiritually, getting that whole balance there, and really growing from that. We're in a really expansive time here, Leo. And so it's just like Saturn and Pisces wants us to make the most of that, really to have our dreams come true, and figure out too as well, because Pisces energy they're so compassionate. They are about they have it's universal compassion, you know what I mean? They take the energy of Aquarius, that humanitarianism, that group friend connections, and takes it to that next level. And so it's like, I feel like too, it's like, what value can we bring? How can we both give 10 of Cups and receive 10 of Cups in the actions that we're doing, and how we're going about our journey? And think about your sign too, Leo, it's solar energy. The sun is always just out, just going. If you ever want sun, all you got to do is step outside. And I feel like Leo energy is very generous as well. And it's like, I feel like it's finding that balance, like that 6 of Cups type of energy, or excuse me, 6 of Coins type of energy, where it's like, you're getting that reciprocity, where you're getting the stuff back. So just like, it's beautiful, I feel like, with the Saturn and Pisces, what's going on with this Saturn and Pisces energy. And Saturn's been in Pisces, and all that has been kind of popping up quite a bit here as of late. So I do feel like there has been a real kind of emphasis on this spirituality, and even couple it too with Neptune retrograde. Neptune's going to be retrograde in Pisces until the 6th of December. Powerful spiritual time right now, because Neptune is one of Pisces' rulers along with Jupiter. And with Neptune being at home, it's almost like that where Neptune is like a sign or a planet of like the mysterious and the hidden, and in the asylums and things along those lines. But now that her going retrograde, is almost like the veil is being lifted, and we have like a stronger sense of connection to higher self, to source and things, and really kind of tap in, putting that work and trust those instincts, those intuitions. It's going to, all your intuitions, and it's going to lead to abundance, lead to you getting Queen of Pentacles. You really tap into where your manifestation is just like hot. You're just creating stuff all over the place. And this is very artistic, very creative energy, Leo. You are probably the most creative sign, I would say, of the zodiac. I mean, you're associated with the 5th house, the house of creativity. Pisces, I would say, is probably a close second, but you got a lot that you can really shine here, Leo. And I feel like it's tapping into that energy here, and really just kind of letting it loose there. But let's Ace of Wands, baby, all day. But let's get an oracle on this. Oh, interesting, Leo. Okay, so you got the 5th card of Sagittarius here, which is a yarn card. And with this card, this is a card of hassles, problems, big mess, interesting. Interconnected came up twice, and we got that. Interesting. Complicated, patience needed, future gains, work it out, made up story, many working components, mischief, and out of control. And Leo, I feel like because you're a very intuitive sign, you know, being able to be as naturally creative, and however that translates, you know, for you, whatever your natural skill is. I feel like that's where Leo's really kind of, where their intuition shines, you know, when you can get into that space of just doing that thing, you know, it's, you know what you're good at, Leo, and I feel like it's really kind of honing in on that and just kind of making a connection with that, because I feel like that's not only going to just add another tool to your tool belt and just like refine a skill, it's going to, you being, I feel like, in creative energy and just like doing things that make you, you know, just get you in that more intuitive space, I feel like helps you handle problems like these yarn card, this urn, this spilled milk, because you are racking up some tough problems. And listen, that's not to say that you're just in for a tough month here, but I feel like it's going to be a very reflective one, you know, one of really of growth and really kind of working on yourself, Leo, in getting you in a way where you're just, I'm just getting like an energy of really kind of shining bright. This stuff here that may be happening right now, it's like it's like the storm that's brewing right now, and you're coming in to bring that sunlight. You know, you're there to bring that calm when things feel out of control, to kind of shine this light on this stuff here, and to bring these rainbows and sense of emotional ease and things along those lines. Very, very powerful stuff here. I feel like we can learn from this stuff, but it almost feels like even like this interconnected, it's like even, that's interesting, like it's like connecting to the again, like how I was saying, they being present when these kind of heavier situations happen, because I really feel like that perspective is going to be the name of the game. It's like we could either see this as just a hot mess, and that we're just in it, and that life, you see how this water's kind of slipping through her hands, it feels like maybe like life is kind of slipping out, you know, getting out of control here. It's just like there's abundance here. Hold on, Leo, let's get some tarot on this, because that's fascinating. Yeah, I really feel like, Leo, this is going to be a time where you're going to, yeah, I feel like learn a lot about yourself and learn how you, yeah, how you do what you do. Like, I'm not, let me get this tarot here before, and then we'll talk more about that. Yeah, there's Jupiter. And there's the death card here, Leo. Okay, so you have the Two of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and then the death card. And with the Two of Swords, Leo, let's start there. I feel like this is what happens sometimes when we get in our heads, you know, and I don't know, it feels like that these situations here, it gets you to this place of where we're not, it almost feels like with the Two of Swords, we want to be mindful of getting caught in that sort of like indecisive space, because this is the moon in Libra, the Two of Swords. And when I think about that energy, it's like that Libra energy can be a bit oscillating sometimes. They're weighing all of these options. You know, they're the, you know, cardinal air sign, but it feels like that there's this energy of not getting stuck, you know, and being mindful of like, if we're, it's almost like we're staying in this place of, it's like a very rigid type of energy with the Two of Swords and the Four of Pentacles here, and there's this energy of trying to change, but we're it's interesting, we're getting stuck in a cycle here. Let me get a little bit more on this death card here, because this really does feel like that this may be a very, very transformative energy for you. And when you think about the Wheel of Fortune too, that's like I was saying, that's Jupiter. Jupiter rules over Sagittarius. That's yarn card's ruler. And Jupiter's all about growth, expansion, learning. But the thing too with Jupiter is that when we get to talking about abundance, where Saturn has guidelines on his abundance, Jupiter doesn't care. Jupiter's all about, like, he'll just give and give and give. He's a great benefactor. And the tricky thing about that is where when we're able to kind of process this stuff, learn from these situations and see them from a higher perspective, then we're getting that growth and abundance, where and that's not to take away from the suck from the situation, but that does help when we get to the other side of it. That sense of achievement is just as great, if not more so, because you've overcome something. We've closed out a cycle here. But if we stay into this energy of, get almost caught in like almost like an 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords energy, where it's like we're really kind of stuck in our heads and it's just like everything sucks, and all that stuff. We can get an abundance of that, and that hinders this growth, this death card here, the Scorpio energy that's dealing with this transformation. But let me get let me see. Oh, how funny. Okay, well, it's not funny, but the death card is clarified by the 9 of Swords and then the Queen of Swords here. And that's what I was talking about, these thoughts that are going down here. Libra energy, Queen of Swords. This is an energy of, we want to be mindful of our thoughts, because our thoughts are powerful. And Leo, talking about how creative you are, being able to have, I feel like that type of creativity, we want to be, again, real careful with that, because it's 9 of Swords really gets us in this almost like kind of nightmarish state, where it's just like it's just something is just always on our mind and we can't seem to shake it. It's just like, when you can hardly sleep, you can't, when you eat, it's just like there's just constantly stressed here. And that's something too that kind of popped up, that I'm glad that I said that maybe even for some of us, we may be even trying to, because even with like this, with all these hassles and squared situations, milk, yarn, urns, it's like maybe some of us, it's like we're working through possibly these problems as well. There's some form of escapism, I feel like, that may be happening. That's not sure quite sure what that is, Leo. But again, we want to be mindful of our thoughts, and if things are feeling out of balance, how do we find the clarity in this? How do we get to this sense of, and this could be something too, even just thinking about that, all this, this Libra energy coming through. This could be something where we are talking with maybe someone about this, getting a sounding board, whether this means, listen, not medical advice, but maybe we're talking to a professional. Maybe things have been really kind of hard here lately. Or this could be even just as simple as kind of talking with a friend or something along those lines. So you got a good, decent amount of people here, but yeah, just something to think about here, Leo, because I feel like if we get too fixated on a situation, it's not that to say that you're not going to get abundance and that things are just going to suck, but it just is going to slow down the process a little bit and make it just a little bit trickier to achieve there. Now, let's talk about the last energy here, Capricorn. Because Pluto is going to be retrograde in Capricorn till the 10th of October. And with this energy, Leo, this is asking ourselves, with Capricorn being the sign of achievements and ambitions and things, it's just like, if we don't feel that we have been working towards our highest vibration, or towards our goals, 10 of Cups, things along those lines, it's just like, what stuff do we need to let go? Do we have some vices, some devil situations that we need to get on? Have we been stuck in our heads? And why have we been stuck in our heads? And what can we do to move, what can we do to get moving towards the future here? What can we, what change is needing to happen here? And it's also too, Pluto energy is intense, and it's going to be, I feel like, especially for those of you, if you had like Leo placements at the very early stages of that, of your Leo placements, you probably felt that little flavor with Pluto entering Aquarius, but this is going to be a very transformative time for you, Leo, over these next couple decades here, and really over even just like the next few years, just keeping even on a small frame. But we are in a time of really thinking about, you know, what does you and your best vibration look like? What do we want to work on? What do we want to accomplish? What does that structure look like? And they're going to be, and on just a more kind of, because the outer planets, they deal, and all the planets affect us, but, you know, the outer planets, when they're making moves, it really affects us on a global level here. And there's going to be a lot of, you know, Capricorn deals with like authorities and things. So there's going to be a lot of change in governments and a lot of changes of how we even go about achieving things. And, you know, it's because Pluto and Capricorn really is a strong placement, you know, because like Pluto's like, well, you got to bring that change, and Capricorn's like, bet, you know, like it's a tight bond, but you know, it's just, it can potentially be with that plutonic energy. It's just like it can potentially be, you know, very kind of intense time. So we are, and again, considering too that you got both Scorpio, which was one of Pluto's, Pluto rules over Scorpio, and that just we got this double death situation here. I do feel like that, you know, embracing this this newness is going to be very important, Leo. But let's get some let's get an oracle card on this. Interesting. We got eclipses coming up here soon. We got the second card of Aries here, huh? There's an eclipse in the Eight of Cups here, which is the eclipse card. And with this card, this is a card of union of opposites. Interesting. Conceal, event, mask, upstage, merge, transform, camouflage, hide, overshadow, loss of power, temporary block, support, sudden darkness, and reveal. So this energy that really kind of first stuck out, Leo, was that union of opposites here. And it almost feels like that maybe for some, especially since you got the star card here, your opposite sign, I feel like that maybe there's this energy of maybe needing to it's almost like an integration of, like a conjunction. It's almost like an integration of like an old way of thinking, but it's like applying something new with it, like something that you may not normally do. And I'm not sure, that's interesting, like doing something different. I'm not, as it makes sense, Leo. I feel like just pay attention over this next month or so, just like if there's something, and listen, this is not like I'm saying like we're going against like our morals or anything along those lines, but there's like, it's almost like a different like maybe for some, let's say if you work in like a kind of simple example, maybe we work in like a corporate job or something, and someone happens to, you happen to be talking with maybe someone at work there, and then you happen to say like, oh, I happen to do like, I don't know, you like dabble in like art or something like that, and they're just like, oh, well, you know, I do this art gallery on the side, or I know someone who's looking for something, do you like, would you want to do this stuff? And like, oh, if your normally response is like, oh no, I wouldn't do X, it's just like, well, why wouldn't you do X? You know, is it like, it's something really specific like that. I'm not quite sure. It's like, it's almost like embracing even like a new way of doing something, or just like trying a new type of opportunity, changing something up here. Oh, interesting energy here, Leo. But then the transform, and of course with all this change energy here, it almost feels like, Leo, with all this energy that's kind of going down here, because eclipses bring change as well. You know, there's this kind of erratic energy sometimes, and I feel that is this energy of where we may feel like that we're at a loss of power, where you feel like maybe there's a lot of blockages, or that there's just like that, even just with like the sudden darkness, it almost feels like that, like, yeah, like your sunlight has been eclipsed, like something, it's like something has just like, I'm not sure, like just like kind of over, it's interesting, Leo. It's almost like it's like a journeying through the fog and then coming, it's like going from the moon to the sun, you know what I mean? And then the major arcana, we got to go in that dark, it's like we're in the thick of like some shadow work maybe, or something along those lines. And then once we get that, start processing that change and finding that integration, that is going to, something's about dope is about to happen here, Leo. Let's get some, and listen, well, where it may sound like I'm really excited, and I am, but it's not to say that it may not be easy. You know what I mean? It's not to say that it's the growth may be one where it's like a blessing in disguise. It may come across as one thing, and then it's like over time it's going to see like how this is going to how why this needed to happen here. I feel like it's something is going to make a lot of sense, Leo, but it may be just a little challenging here for a little bit. But let's see what we got here, Leo. All right, last little bit, Leo. Okay. All right, Leo. Interesting, and I think we got all of your minor arcana cards here, and that's what, okay. So we have the King of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, the Five of Swords, and then the Six of Wands here, Leo. And let's switch back over. Because I feel like a lot of this is going to be, maybe you're going to be a lot of in your Six of Wands energy, where this is a great card. This is a card of success, achievement. I mean, couple that with the Wheel of Fortune here. Ten of Cups, Chariot, a lot of energies of victory here. But I do feel like it's one where it is going to be some work. You know, this is going to be something that is going to kind of maybe challenge our routine. This may be something where we may even feel like a little alone in this thing, you know, with the Five of Swords. Because this is, it almost feels like that maybe some may not understand our thoughts or maybe understand the situation that's going on here with the King of Cups. I feel like there's a sense of that. And it's not that I feel like that they don't understand, but I feel like it's more so that it's our way of maybe kind of stifling this thing down or something, Leo. Because it's like if we don't think others are understand, then it's like, well, why deal with it? You know, that's what it almost kind of feels like. That's sort of like almost like we're just kind of like, I don't know how to call it, like not like a throwaway, but it just like an easy way out of not. And listen, I mean, it's, I don't know, that there's something here about like a needing for like just like making a connection with something. But when I was talking about earlier with the Six of Wands and how you have the five, because you got the 6, 5, 6, and 7 of Wands, and those are all your minor arcana cards here, Leo. And it feels like it's going to be a lot of just like sort of everyday things that are just going to be kind of challenging you here. There may be something where it's like it's focusing on, where the Eight of Pentacles go. Where did the Eight of Pentacles go? There we go. Focusing on like just like a different routine, or maybe there's something like we may be in for some just like very interesting energy here, Leo. But I feel like it's going to be one of where it's going to be kind of focusing on your kind of self-transformation. You know, I feel like there's going to be a lot of maybe like a lot of maybe adjusting here over your birthday season, probably even maybe even coming up to this eclipse. You know, it might be something where, but hey, you know, that gives you something to look forward to. You know, listen, it's been changed all over the place, and you know, we've the last few months have been a little intense, and it's been, I think we're still going to kind of be, it's still kind of, energies are still sort of like adjusting, you know, but I almost feel like too, Leo, it almost seems like with this Eight of Pentacles here, I got this energy of just like keeping yourself busy, not in a sense of distracting ourselves, but just like if we find that, like, it's almost like instead, especially if we were resonating with that, like that kind of devil energy, sort of like overindulgence and things, it's like maybe finding different ways of channeling our energies as well here. It's interesting, like, or just like, you know, finding a different way of like just like expressing ourselves, or a different outlet or something along those lines, Leo. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. So I hope that hopefully that made sense, Leo. But if you like this, Leo, give it a thumbs up and share this, because you know this is a lot of change that's going on here, Leo. You got a lot of change, and it's gonna be one where when these situations come up, it's like we're all learning as we go, you know. And again, this is not one where we want to be too critical of ourselves, or again, you know what, speaking with that Five of Swords, if there have been others that may have been in this state of just being overly critical, or because it's one thing to have constructive criticism, but if it's another thing that if we're just like, oh, Leo, you can't do anything, you know, like all this stuff, like just really kind of, just sort of like, that kind of like deprecating energy, where it's just like it's just you're putting this people down all the time or something along those lines. Like it's we want to be mindful of energies like that too. It's like how I tell you at the beginning, you know, take what resonates with you, leave the rest with them. I'm getting back to your reading, Liz. So tell them all that stuff and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell button to get notified of these videos each week. And I'm on this meditation app, Inside Timer, and I started this group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group that posts like positive affirmations, encouraging messages, things along those lines. As the group grows, I actually got a story for you, Leo. As the group grows, I'm going to start posting different meditations, like guided meditations, binaural beats, ambient music, things like, you know, maybe changing with the death card, or working on vices with the devil, healing with the star, stuff along those lines. But all that energy, or all that, check out that information, Leo. And just a little sidebar here. I think, considering that Scorpio's card, I don't know if you can see the little unicorn back there, but a Scorpio got me that gift. There's gifts inside the unicorn, and the only way to get to that thing is to cut it at the seams. And I'm just like, it's just like, no, I'm not doing any of that. I don't know what I'm gonna call that unicorn yet, but we've got a little sidebar there. But lastly, you got a hot ticket. Let's get on back to you, because you got the hottest ticket to come over to my other channel, Leo. Not that you need one, but if you got any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to the Chariot, friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss, you got no lunar shenanigans. Oh, well, eclipse and stuff. We discuss lunar shenanigans. Absolutely. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping, down in the description box below. Let me get your surprise cards here. Wow. So I can get you out of here, Leo. Here's Pluto, the Judgment card. And I had a weird, interesting. I'm going to get your Oracle card in a second, Leo, but with the Judgment card, this is that death and rebirth. You know, this is that, I feel like it's like when tower moments and death cards and yarn and spilled milk and hanged man situations come up. Just like, I'm getting an energy of like, see how he's playing a flute here. There's usually like a playing of an instrument that's going on here. It's just like, it's like, how do we heed the call? You know what I mean? When Pluto asks for change, it's for real. Like, it's no joke. And that's what happened. I feel like, especially since they tried to demote him as a planet, now he's real pissed off. Me being petty. But with this Judgment card, it's like, you got some big change stuff here, Leo, and we want to be mindful of, especially with that Eight of Cups there too. If anything has been, and listen, Leo, this is not me trying to scare you or anything. This is really just kind of getting eyes on stuff and just seeing if there's stuff that we need to let go, or situations that we need to adjust, or whatever that's looking like. But let's get your Oracle card here. Alright, Leo. And then you got the Witch Bottle card in reverse here. And part of it, it's just again, because we were talking about that Ten of Cups and Devil situations. I feel like we just want to be mindful of getting lost in any sort of, you know, getting lost in a bottle, Leo. And you know that, listen, again. Oh, where's it at? Judgment-free zone here. But I do feel like we want to try to find, we don't want to keep things bottled up, Leo. And it's, however we need to express that, maybe that's because even looking at this death card here, you know, maybe we're journaling some stuff down. She's got her brush here, getting ready to do some calligraphy. I was gonna say calligraphize, getting ready to write down her thoughts in very eloquent ways, and that could be something too. Maybe have some fun with the Leo, but it's like either some kind of way of getting this stuff out, or just finding an outlet to just, because this feels like a lot, Leo, and it's I'm also getting energy with the Chariot here. It's just like not realizing that you don't have to take this on all by yourself. You know, it doesn't have to feel like that. It's okay to feel out of control. You know, and I know that I get it, Leo. It's hard to feel out of control, but there is a sense of we may not sometimes be able to prevent control situations that are happening, but we can control how we feel about it. And it's like in this, it's getting that head and heart connection. It's processing these feelings and figuring out what you can do to take action. You know, when that, I feel like when that left brain, that left and right hemisphere brain just kind of line up there, you get that that wisdom, that King of Cups energy. So I don't know where he went at the moment. He's a little elusive, but yeah. So I think I'm gonna leave that there, Leo. Lot to think about here. So you stay safe out there. You know, with this energy, just be mindful here, and know that it's okay to. There you are. To feel some kind of way, but I feel like this is one. Try not to even how I had to find the King of Cups. It's almost like we're try not to keep like locked up or keep I don't know, keep things bottled up here. Keep yourself locked away or something or like that, Leo. It's very interesting, but. Yeah, stay safe and raise your vibration to the roof. Do some self-care and whatever that's looking like. And I will catch you. And because it's getting ready to be a birthday season here, Liam. It is where, because, I just got through, but just had my solar return. And it was an interesting day. But we're in an interesting time, Leo, and it's going to be just growth from here. So know that. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.